Hi everyone, and welcome back to English with Yubin. And for today's video, I am going to get you guys to practice your speaking skills out loud, and to help you along with that, I went through my previous video, which if you haven't watched, I'll link it in the description below. So I've gone through and I've picked out some phrases to help you practice along with the video. So what's going to happen is I will say the phrase slowly twice, and then I'll say it in real time as I would normally say it in a real conversation. So hopefully you can follow along with this video to practice your pronunciation and also just practice saying things out loud. So without further ado, shall we get to it? So I have prepared a reading exercise for you. One more time. I have prepared a reading exercise for you. So in real time, you would say, I have prepared a reading exercise for you. On to the next one. It's been a while since I last saw you. One more time. It's been a while since I last saw you. So if you bump into a friend and you haven't seen them for a long time, you can say, oh, it's been a while since I last saw you. That one ended up getting scrapped. Again, that one ended up getting scrapped. And then real time, that one ended up getting scrapped. So if you had made plans with a friend and they ended up getting cancelled, then you can say, oh, that plan ended up getting scrapped. Say it along with me. That plan ended up getting scrapped. So like I said in my previous video, we are going to be reading the book Wonder. We are going to be reading the book Wonder. We are going to be reading the book Wonder. And this book used to be one of my favorites growing up. And this book used to be one of my favorites growing up. And this book used to be one of my favorites growing up. And I think it was recommended to me by a family friend from primary school. And I think it was recommended to me by a family friend from primary school. And I think it was recommended to me by a family friend from primary school. And the reason I chose this book is because it is quite a short book and an easy read. One more time. And the reason I chose this book is because it is quite a short book and an easy read. And then sped up to normal time. And the reason I chose this book is because it is quite a short book and an easy read. And I thought it would be a good place to start for beginners and intermediate learners. One more time. And I thought it would be a good place to start for beginners and intermediate learners. And so I thought it would be a good place to start for beginners and intermediate learners. And I think everyone could benefit from reading this book, no matter what your age. One more time. And I think everyone could benefit from reading this book, no matter what your age. And I think everyone could benefit from reading this book, no matter what your age. And my original plan was to read it aloud and explain the words and phrases as they came up. One more time. And my original plan was to read it aloud and explain the words and phrases as they came up. And my original plan was to read it aloud and explain the words and phrases as they came up. So I highly recommend you getting the book to read for yourself. So I highly recommend you getting the book to read for yourself. So I highly recommend you getting the book to read for yourself. I will give you a little bit of background on what it's about. I will give you a little bit of background on what it's about. And I'll give you a little bit of background on what it's about. But it's a little bit hazy. One more time. But it's a little bit hazy. But it's a little bit hazy. As someone who doesn't quite look the same as other children. One more time. As someone who doesn't quite look the same as other children. As someone who doesn't quite look the same as other children. And I think it changes your perspective on life as well. One more time. And I think it changes your perspective on life as well. And I think it changes your perspective on life as well. You might not have heard of it before. One more time. You might not have heard of it before. Sped up. You might not have heard of it before. And I am going off based on the assumption that you've already read it. One more time. And I am going off based on the assumption that you've already read it. And I'm going based off the assumption that you've already read it. I could say, my niece barges in on me so often that I'm kind of used to it. One more time. I could say, my niece barges in on me so often that I'm kind of used to it. And sped up, I could say my niece barges in on me so often that I'm kind of used to it. Then we have, it no longer affects you. One more time. It no longer affects you. It no longer affects you. She's being escorted out. One more time. She's being escorted out. Sped up. She's being escorted out. I've gotten pretty good at it. One more time. I've gotten pretty good at it. Sped up. I've gotten pretty good at it. It would be difficult for me to jump out of a plane to go skydiving. One more time. It would be difficult for me to jump out of a plane to go skydiving. And sped up. It would be difficult for me to jump out of a plane to go skydiving. Actually, I take that back. It would be impossible because I have a fear of heights. One more time. Actually, I take that back. It would be impossible because I have a fear of heights. And sped up. Actually, I take that back. It would be impossible because I have a fear of heights. That's the way she is, they are, or I am. One more time. That's the way she is, they are, or I am. That's the way she is, that's the way they are, and that's the way I am. Then we have an introvert and an extrovert. An introvert and an extrovert. Introverts and extroverts. Petrified or terrified. One more time. Petrified and terrified. Petrified and terrified. And if a bug lands on me, I will not move an inch. If a bug lands on me, I will not move an inch. And if a bug lands on me, I will not move an inch. She is good at drawing, but not so good at the boy stuff. One more time. She is good at drawing, but not so good at the boy stuff. She's good at drawing, but not so good at the boy stuff. I am going to hang out with my friends later. I am going to hang out with my friends later. I'm going to go hang out with my friends later. It's mostly reserved for children. It's mostly reserved for children. It's mostly reserved for children. I bumped into one of my friends on my way to the park. One more time. I bumped into one of my friends on my way to the park. I bumped into one of my friends on my way to the park. I'm making too big a deal out of it. I'm making too big a deal out of it. I'm making too big a deal out of it. It's a walk in the park. It's a walk in the park. It's a walk in the park. And then secondly, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. I am responsible for looking after her, and that's what on duty means. I am responsible for looking after her, and that's what on duty means. I'm responsible for looking after her, and that's what on duty means. You have to deal with it because you have no other choice. One more time. You have to deal with it because you have no other choice. You have to deal with it because you have no other choice. I am stuck with work. One more time. I am stuck with work. I'm stuck with work. Lastly, I took a sip out of my cup, but it turned out to be alcohol. One more time. I took a sip out of my cup, but it turned out to be alcohol. I took a sip out of my cup, but it turned out to be alcohol. Well, guys, I am going to leave off today's video here. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I hope you got a chance to practice your pronunciation and practice speaking out loud as well alongside the video. But yeah, hopefully it was somewhat enjoyable watching me repeat myself. But yeah, I will see you guys very, very soon in the next one. And yeah, that's it for today, and hope you have a really nice day. Bye!